lawmakers accuse Buhari government of shortchanging legislature, judiciary. Police spend 400 million naira annually on pensioners. The government moves hand over of power distribution to Germans. LMC bans heartland from transfers over unlawful termination and indebtedness. Hello and good morning. Welcome to MCL News. I am Amanda Carlo, and now the details of the news. Members of the House of Representatives have accused the executive arm of government of shortchanging the legislature and the judiciary. The House of Representatives therefore says that it will set up an ad hoc committee to ensure that all outstanding arrears due to both the National Assembly and the judiciary from the 2018 and 2019 Appropriations Act are paid. Funds allocated to both the National Assembly and Judiciary are included in the first line charge of statutory funds, a special category of funds which mandates the federal government, after receiving revenues, to make 100% releases before other considerations. But the House questioned why the Minister of Finance withheld funds to the National Assembly over 2 years. The House therefore agreed to invite the management of the National Assembly to brief an ad hoc committee. It said it will set up on a later date on the status of releases to the legislature from January 2018 to December 2019. Babangida Ibrahim, APC Katsina, who moved the motion, said the matter has been pending since the 8th Assembly. He noted that on December 20, 2018, the Committees on Finance and Judiciary submitted a report on the need to ensure the implementation of the National Assembly budget of 2018, and the House adopted it. He said, contrary to the resolution of the House, the Finance Minister failed to comply. This, he said, has continued to affect the smooth operations of the National Assembly. President Muhammadu Buhari Wednesday in Abuja stated that the Green Chamber magazine unveiled by the House of Representatives will help curb the scourge of fake news and misinformation that has become the order of the day in the country. The President, who was represented by Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, said prior to the birth of the magazine, information about the activities, including sponsored notions, passage of bills and committee assignments, were obtained mostly from reports in newspapers, electronic media and the new media. The President explained that the magazine will, however, correct any distortion and become the authoritative voice of the House. Internet access to correct information will not only furnish the image of the House, but will also eliminate the great work that members are doing in the House, including the enormous work that goes into the passage of a bill, as well as committee duties. Also speaking at the event, the director of Kenya Law School and the social critic, Professor Pratik Lumumba, said told lawmakers that the kind of service they render to Nigeria and Nigerians who elected them into office will determine whether they are honorable members or horrible members. In his remarks, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, said over the years there has been great distrust relationship between voters and parliamentarians. He added that Nigerian people have deep and corrosive doubts about how the National Assembly works, explaining that the severe erosion of trust in government has no doubt become a real problem. Earlier, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, said the magazine was not established to message the ego of the lawmakers. He stated categorically that the country's democratic settlement could never have been achieved without the noble daring of the press, adding that journalists are unsung heroes who understood the power of the written word and wielded it in passionate denunciation of the tyranny that sought to consume us all. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovier Omwagege, has charged Nigerians to hold their leaders accountable for their actions or inactions. Speaking on Thursday at a colloquium to mark the 10th anniversary of the African Center for Leadership Strategy and Development, Omwagege says that doing so is the surest way to ensure that only credible leaders are elected at all levels of government. Omwagege, who who was represented by his senior special assistant on speech writing, Dr. Chuba Keshi, identified the central areas where Nigerians can develop leadership models and strategies to include national spirit and effective political participation by the led. The federal government says that President Muhammadu Buhari will not resign because he has the overwhelming mandate to Nigerians to preside the overwhelming mandate of Nigerians to preside over the affairs of the country until the expiration of his tenure in May 2023. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this at a media briefing in Abuja. The minister was reacting to what he called diversionary statements by some commentators, especially political and religious leaders, calling for President Buhari's resignation over purported spate of insecurity. The minister considered that the country is facing security challenges but are being tackled headlong. He stressed that the kind of comments that have been attributed to some leaders, especially religious leaders, are incendiary and reckless. Nigerian Police Force Pensions Limited has set aside 400 million naira annually to cushion the effects of delayed payment of pension benefits to police retirees. Hamza Suleiman, its managing director, said the company is also working toward enhanced welfare package and improved pension payment to retired police officers. Suleiman said this in Owerri at a one-day pre-retirement seminar for police officers in Southeast due for retirement next year. He said the seminar is to educate and enlighten the officers retiring in 2020 on their rights and obligations and necessary preparations for smooth payment of their retirement benefits. Mr. Suleiman said retirement should not be seen as an act of banishment, but a season of life that should be embraced with gladness and gratitude to God for being alive to witness it. He said about the 3 officers in the Southeast are due for retirement next year and advised that retirement time called for adequate preparations in terms of necessary documentation of papers. The Commissioner of Police Pensions, Ibrahim Tafa, said that the Inspector General of Police is working toward ensuring that the police pension benefits were improved. He said the request for approval of special gratuity for retired officers at the rate of 300% of the annual gross salary upon retirement is being processed, and for which the IGP had sent a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari. He highlighted the importance of the contributory pension scheme, which he said had not recorded any fraud since inception, while its structure had delineated functions for PFAs and PFCs. He said CPS is also regulated by the National Pension Commission. The federal government is considering a proposal to take over power supply from the distribution companies and hand it over to a German firm, Siemens. It warned Wednesday that to no longer tolerate the shoddy performance of the discos, which has undermined its efforts at ensuring stable supplies of electricity. Briefing reports after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting in the State House Thursday, the Minister of Power, Saleh Mahmoud, said whereas Nigeria currently generates 13,000 megawatts of electricity, it transmits 7,000 to discos, while the distribution companies can only distribute 3,000 megawatts to end users. He said that the discos have continued to demonstrate a show of incapacity, inefficiency and dishonesty in the distribution of power to consumers, despite the huge investments made into the sector by the federal government since the privatization of the power sector in 2013. The minister regretted that even when the discos received 3,000 megawatts, they should change the system by paying for only 1,000 megawatts, threatening that the federal government could no longer continue to subsidize their inefficiency. The minister said the proposal to hand over power distribution to Siemens was contained in the Memorandum of Understanding that is submitted to the Council yesterday. In his own briefing, the Minister of State for Works, Abubakar Aliyu, said the Council also approved a memorandum to increase the contract cost for the construction of Benin-Akure Road from the earlier 3.297 billion naira to 4.770 billion naira. He said the contract, which was awarded in 2013 by the former administration of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, was inherited by the current government. Nigerians have joined their counterparts in the world to mark World Social Justice Day. The theme for this year is Closing the Inequalities Gap to Achieve Social Justice. MCL News sought the opinion of Aba residents on this day. Esther Ndugwe report.
Social justice is an underlying principle for peaceful and prosperous coexistence within and among nations. This is upheld when gender equality or the rights of indigenous people and migrants are promoted. The pursuit of social justice for all is at the core of the global mission to promote development and human dignity. Speaking of social justice, ISCOB militating against it, Aba residents lamented the poor level of social justice, blaming the ugly trend on the quest and love for wealth, barriers and the discrimination among the social class, gender, religion, race, ethnicity, disability, among others, which result to social injustice.
A person should not be discriminated against because of his tribe, his sex, his total status, and all that, okay, where he comes from. You see, I think social justice has to do with equality. The way you treat Mr. A from so-so place, that should be the same way you should treat Mr. B from a different place. And when you are looking at the country as it is today, we cannot boast of social justice.
It's not way, because in Nigeria, religion, ethnicity, tribalism plays out when it comes to justice. There's no social justice in Nigeria.
Statistics, according to International Labour Organization, estimate that about 2 billion people live in fragile and conflict-affected situations, out of which more than 400 million are aged 15 to 29 years, while 40% of people have better quality of jobs and better access to jobs to increase their capacity and contributed to a more cohesive and equitable society. On the way out, respondents have this to say.
The Constitution has as a means of appointment what we call the federal character. That federal character should reflect in all the appointments that whosoever is at the helm of affair should adopt. The reason is that, I mean, it is the country as Nigeria belongs to every one of us. I hope you know that. It does not belong to a certain people. It belongs to every one of us. That is why the principle of federal character should be encouraged. Because anything outside of that, you can't be talking of any solution.
So if we can go back, ask ourselves what we're doing right, if we can go back and change our attitude, change our reason, change our thinking, I believe Nigeria will be a better society for us to live in.
World Social Justice Day is observed every 20th February annually. The theme for this year's event is Closing the Inequalities Gap to Achieve Social Justice. Esther Ndukwe, MCL News.
The Nigerian government on Thursday urged the United States of America to consider the long-standing relationship between the two countries and reverse its visa restrictions on the country. Minister of Interior Benin Arabashola made the call on Thursday when the American ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Leonard, and her team paid him a visit in Abuja. Arabashola said that Nigeria has complied with most of the issues of concern raised by America, and that Nigeria is not a pariah nation. The minister said the cooperation with the U.S. will solve immigration and consular issues and control of persons seeking to enter both countries through issuance of visa, passport, and other travel documents. According to Arabashola, Nigeria should be commended rather than sanctioned owing to relationship with America. He further appealed to the U.S. to review its visa validity to Nigerians from 2 years limit to at least 5 years. He gave assurance that the President Muhammad Buhari administration is not only committed to ensuring internal security and citizenship integrity of Nigerians and foreigners alike, but also to fight against terrorism and transnational crimes and criminalities. Ella, the envoy, said her team was in the ministry to share ideas and possible ways of addressing information sharing gap between the two nations. Leonard added that America had a very broad collaboration with Nigeria, which covers immigration, safety issues, and security. Still to come on MCL News, Nigerian government appeals to U.S. over visa ban. EU supports Nigeria with 32 million naira to fight Lassa fever. Abia Poly rector receives award. No Nigerian among 18 foreigners cured of coronavirus, Chinese government. World Bank OK's $2.185 billion project support fund for Nigeria. Details after the break. Do stay with us.
Mommy, mosquito is biting me.
But I asked you to use Top Rank insecticide.
Top Rank insecticide kills mosquitoes, cockroach, flies, and every other crawling and flying insects faster anywhere around you. NAFDAC approves Top Rank insecticide for its effectiveness. Use Top Rank insecticide and enjoy a peaceful night rest. Available in all shops and supermarkets near you in 600 milliliter can and 300 milliliter can. Top Rank insecticide is marketed nationwide by C Success Multi Services Limited. Telephone 0813 111 2348 or 090-960-22577. Top Rank insecticide. What's worth doing is worth doing well.
Our esteemed viewer, thanks for your patronage of our programs and services, for which we say thank you. We remind you that at all times, you have the right to quality broadcasting. It belongs to you as well as the right to lodge complaints on broadcast materials or conduct of any broadcast station. MCLtv is open and receptive to your commendations, complaints and criticisms, as such comments strengthen and make us serve you better. Feel free at all times to address your reactions to National Broadcasting Commission, Enugu Zonal Office, Current Drive, Independent Layout, Enugu. You can email us at mbcenuguzone@yahoo.com or Modern Communications Limited, number 9B Obibo Avenue, Aba. MCLtv, the world in your home.
Welcome back. The European Union has pledged to assist Nigeria with 32 million naira humanitarian aid to curb the spread of Lassa fever. This pledge was announced in a press statement made available to newsmen on Thursday. The union said the funds will be used to assist families affected by the current Lassa fever outbreak in Nigeria. The allocation will go towards supporting the Nigerian Red Cross in promoting hygiene practices and disease transmission control, contributing to the identification of suspected cases, supporting contact tracing, and providing psychosocial support. The funding forms part of the EU's overall contribution to the Disaster Relief Emergency Fund of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. The Northern Youth Progressive Forum has given an award to the rector of the Abia State Polytechnic, Aba, Professor Ezionye Ebo. The award ceremony took place at the conference room of the institution. The report.
Professor Ebo was honored with the Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Meritorious Award. The Northern Youth Progressive Forum found the Abia Poly rector worthy because of his immense contributions to educational development.
Or to be a pillar,
Leader of the group, Abdul Malik Labaran, commended Professor Ebo and his management team for their developmental strides in the institution. He stated that the Northern Youth Progressive Forum was formed to sensitize the youths on the oneness of Nigeria.
In Nigeria, where a northern man is free with the southern man, and eastern man is free with the western man. Not because of our attire, not because of our look, not because of our tongue, but for the fact that we are one.
In his response, Professor Ebo commended the Northern Youth Progressive Forum for finding him worthy of the award. He stated that the institution has made tremendous progress in academics and infrastructure. The rector described students of the institution as one of the best in the country.
So I want to thank you for this honor. It's an honor to the Abia State Polytechnic. It's an honor to the council of the institution, an honor to the management, an honor to the state and his excellency, who had almost confidence in our ability to him, and we would let it down.
Professor Abel used the occasion to address the issue of students in the School of Engineering who recently staged a peaceful demonstration on the non-accreditation of the engineering department. He confirmed that the accreditation would have taken place last year, but for some bottlenecks. The Abia Poly rector, however, told the students to remain calm as the course will be accredited soon.
In simple, clear, unmistakable terms, our courses, the MBTE teams on the accreditation of our various programs will be here in no distant time. We are expecting the formal letter from the body, but and like I said, we are discussing, and the agency just hesitated. The executives secretaries sent me a text. The matter concerning us has been resolved at that level.
The award ceremony attracted presence of the members of the Northern Youth Progressive Forum and management and staff of the Abia State Polytechnic, Aba. Jonah Oje, MCL News.
The Chinese government has said that Nigerians among the 18 foreigners that were killed of coronavirus in China. In the February 20th, 2020 edition of the newsletter on fighting 2019 Encore, made available to newsmen in Abuja by the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Nigeria, the Chinese government disclosed that 29 foreign citizens in China have been infected. The Chinese government further said among them, 18 had recovered and were discharged from hospital. Even as the Chinese government said 2 foreign nationals died and 9 are still under quarantine and treatment. The Chinese government further said daily cured cases of 2019 novel coronavirus have surpassed new confirmed cases for the first time. The Chinese government added that 12 out of 31 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities on the Chinese mainland are seeing no new daily confirmed COVID-19 cases. The World Bank has approved $2.185 billion to fund 6 projects in Nigeria as part of its support for the country's development priorities. The World Bank's country director for Nigeria, Shubham Chaudhuri, said in a statement Wednesday that the World Bank is ramping up its support to Nigeria in its efforts to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. The fund will be used to finance projects focused on improving immunization, providing an enabling business environment for the private sector, and expanding the digital economy to promote job creation. It is also aimed at increasing capacity of public and private sector on governance, social and environmental safeguards. The 6 approved programs in the 2020 fiscal year include Immunization Plus and Malaria Progress by accelerating coverage and transforming services, Nigerian Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, Nigeria Digital Identification for Development Project, and Ogun State Economic Transformation Project. The rest are Innovation Development and Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills Project and Sustainable Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards Enhancement Project. Impact will strengthen health systems to deliver effective primary health care and improve immunization, malaria control, and child and maternal health in selected states. According to Chaudhuri, the projects are focused on delivering better services to Nigerians by ensuring children immunization and protecting them against malaria infection. The project is financed under concessional terms through an International Development Association credit of $650 million. On sports, Heartland FC has been banned from signing new players for the next registration periods and until they comply with a ruling by the league management company in separate complaints of unlawful termination of contract and indebtedness filed by 2 former players of the club, Madabuchi Okereke and Fatunwase Alfred Olusegun. Madabuchi and Fatunwase had in separate petition to the LMC on November 5, 2019 on issues bordering on claims of overdue payables, wrongful termination of contract and compensation, while Malabuchi laid claims for a total of 10.4 million naira. Fatunwase asked for a total of 6.25 million naira. In its ruling communicated to Highland FC on February 17, 2020, the LMC noted that the club failed to respond to the claims of the players, despite having been invited by the LMC to state its case through a letter dated January 28, 2020. The LMC rejected the letter of clearance purportedly issued the players by Heartland FC on August 28, 2019, and which was simply addressed to whom it may concern. The LMC ruled that the improper release or clearance letter issued by the club straightened the players' claims of wrongful termination. Heartland was ordered to pay Malabuchi the sums of 7.2 million naira, representing the remaining 2 years of his 3-year contract, and another 900,000 naira unpaid arrears of 3 months consolidated salary stipulated in the contract before it was wrongfully terminated by the club. Fatunwase was awarded 4.8 million naira, representing the remaining 2 years of his 3-year contract, and another 600,000 naira unpaid arrears of 3 months consolidated salary as stipulated in the contract before it was wrongfully terminated by the club. That's the our news package this morning, but before we sign out, a recap of our major stories. Members of the House of Representatives have accused the executive arm of government of shortchanging the legislature and the judiciary. The Nigerian Police Force Pensions Limited has set aside 400 million naira annually to cushion the effects of delayed payment of pension benefits to police retirees. The federal government said that it is considering a proposal to take over power supply from the distribution companies and hand it to a German firm, Siemens. And on sports, Highland FC has been banned from signing new players for the next 2 registration periods until they comply with a ruling by the league management company in separate complaints of unlawful termination of contract and indebtedness filed by 2 former players of the club, Malabuchi Okereke and Fatunwase Alfred Olusegun. That was the news. Thanks for watching. Join us again by 8 a.m. for Good Morning Abia. I am Amanda Carlo. Once again, good morning.